This tutorial requires intermediate skills, takes again about 2 hours to prep, but yeah, about half an hour, 40 minutes to apply. You might need to get your hands on some plaster gauze, but the rest of the stuff you should have if you do SFX on a regular basis, so pretty cheapo look. Alright, so there's the plaster gauze and the aluminium foil, and let's shape some antlers. Crunch it together, and the tip here is to not make it too tight or hard initially, but rather keep it soft and until you can shape it properly. When you got your antler shape, we start dipping those strips of plaster gauze here to give it a nice smooth surface. And don't use regular plaster here because it's gonna be a mess. It's not gonna stick properly to that aluminium foil, and yeah, it's gonna be hot when it cures, so that you won't worry about with the plaster gauze. When that antler is wrapped up, we go for some texture creation here with some grooves and striations to give it a nice natural texture. You can use any kind of glue. We have a glue gun, pretty simple. And then it's time for the big bad mask to be created. And we add a little bit of clay here in the eye sockets and around our nose to make sure that mask has some distance to our eyes, our eyelids, and our nose, so we can breathe. Breathing is pretty crucial, usually. And then we smear out liquid latex and baking flour in a paste, mixed up nicely, and start smoothing it out with some additional I can't talk today. With some additional latex on that finger. And then Ellie decided to kill a brush, because believe me, that brush will be killed. But it's a nice tool to rough those edges up around the eyes, because that creature is pretty nasty, as you can see there on that reference image. Alright, so we left that first piece to dry up. You can also run it quickly in the microwave oven a few seconds. It's a bit easier to work this way in layers, and otherwise you'll have a thick mass of liquid latex paste taking, yeah, I don't know, a day or more to dry. So we again go in and shape that mask the way we want to. Find yourself a good reference image. We want to emphasize those cheekbones. It's sort of a skeleton animal skull thingy. Monster meets, I don't know, some weird nightmare. So, yeah, let your fantasy run wild here if you don't want to make an exact replica. And speaking of absolutely nothing, if you like this video, make sure you click the like thumbs up below, because it helps us in the ever-changing algorithm that is the organism of YouTube. And of course, a subscription is always good if you want to be first to see the new stuff coming up. Alright, so we have created some teeth here with Ellinor plastic, and we have a plethora of tutorials on our channel here on how to make those teeth. The Ellinor plastic itself you can get your hands on in our shop, Ellimacs.com. Additional links and videos are found in the description on how to create those teeth. Now let's split that skull open. Get that real, yeah, skull look, basically. Using a sharp tool in this case, and it's dipped in latex as well, so it doesn't stick too much in the latex. Painting time, and of course, yeah, this is supposed to be like a skeleton bone skull material, and of course we need to color it accordingly. So we do that, and we fill in a little bit of dark tones there in those deep cracks and around the eyes. There is going to be multiple layers of color here and a lot of shading going on, so yeah, do your best to follow along. Different shades of red tones here for the gum, one base layer and one a little more saturated look, and then we flick on this color to give it a nice natural look. And this is a process that can take some time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Layering that color slowly but surely all over that mask. Using this flicking technique helps to get a much more natural pigmentation look on that whole thing there. Less of a paint-on job, so to speak. What goes on in Ellie's life? Have a check on her Instagram when we're done with this video. Make sure you follow and give her some love. And now this mask is starting to look the part. Not bad, not bad. A little more darkness there. And of course, behind the teeth as well. If you've seen Malmö, you've seen the world. In Swedish is... Har du sett Malmö, har du sett världen? And there we go. Paint job, A-okay. Now let's shift our focus to the antlers again, because they need a paint job as well, consisting of brown, white, and black tones. Mixing it in to make a nice dark, yeah, sort of shade-y thing. Well, not a shady thing as such, but yeah, you know what I mean. Actually, I'm getting an E.T.'s finger vibe from that. The shout out goes to Sanna, and check out her work. It's just, yeah, she does phenomenal makeup. So head on over there and check it out. Whoa, there was a flying cardboard, and the cardboard we need to attach the antlers to our head, actually. Cutting out a thin strip, making sure it's bendy, like that, and then the trusty glue gun again. Any kind of glue will do, but since we need a chunky mess to actually, yeah, a thick plate of glue to sink that antler into, it's very useful with that glue gun. Do a little field test there to make sure you glue the second one in a proper position, like that, and then it's time for Mask Mania. And there's our mask, and we do need to, cut out some sort of air holes in that mask as well. I think we do that later on. But first, let me take a let me put on some skin adhesive and slap that bald cap on. Looking the bomb. And the cool thing with having a bald cap on is that you now have a nice protective barrier between you and whatever you put on top of your head. In this case, we simply just glue on that plate and slap it on there. I know that Ellie felt she kind of got it too tight, so make sure it's not too tight because you're just gonna get a headache. And then we do a fancy, glamorous safety feature here with golden tape. Awesome. Looks really professional. And there goes the air holes. Make sure you have them, large enough to breathe, simply. And it's always a good idea to actually try that as well. The next step in this magic tutorial is getting the raccoon eyes in place. Make sure you take good care to get those raccoony looking eyes right there in your mug. Oh, aren't we cheerful to... What? Yeah. Låt oss sluta tramsa and get that mask onto our face using skin adhesive and additional skin adhesive in that prosthetic mask. Putting it on top first is a suggestion here, so we don't get any folded or wrinkled edges. Fixing up some of the dark tones there, some skin shining through. She did not do a completely good raccoon job. Add additional darkness in the mouth there to give it depth, and then head on to some sort of matching paint job on the neck. If you want to check out what's happening with the guy behind this voice, just check out my Instagram as well. I beg you, please. I have no followers. Anyway, now onto the cloth. Cut some large holes there for the antlers, or we won't get that on there. Stretchy fit. Yeah, there it's on. Yay! Then we just fold that fabric up and use little pins to keep it in place. Awesome! I say that word way too much. All right, head on to the blood there. Little blood work to keep it wet and nasty. After all, it's a monster. So, wherever you like it, get it on there. Boom, you are ready, and that is one nasty looking creature. Tell us what you think about it in the comments, and we will be back soon with some other strange thing. See you then, bye.